The Jomon period is the key to understanding the world's ancient civilizations. The clay figures with the sunshades aren't aliens. Chapter 25. The Chestnut Pillars of Sannai Maruyama.
Is it true that Jomon people did not farm, but lived by hunting and gathering? For example, I think that even the Jomon people, when they saw sprouts coming out of seeds, would have wanted to see what would happen if they planted them.
Eiichi Fujimori, who worked as an amateur archaeologist while running a used bookstore in Suwa, Nagano, asserted that there was agriculture based on chestnuts during the Jomon period. Actually, I was also focusing on the relationship between chestnuts and the Jomon people.
What do you mean by that?
There is a method of discovering what kind of vegetation existed called pollen analysis, according to which it was found that the Sannai Maruyama site in Aomori Prefecture was covered in chestnut trees. In a natural forest, usually there are only about 5% chestnut trees. The fact that the area was covered with chestnut trees suggests that the Jomon people may have been cultivating them.
The Sannai Maruyama site is famous for tall buildings using huge chestnut trees. They have restored a 3-story building there.
They found that there had been 6 pillars made with chestnut trees that were 1 meter wide. However, they have mostly restored the pillars only and stopped there without giving it a roof.
Why is that?
Maybe there was a dispute about the theory of the tall building, but I don't know much about the details. I have seen many of the same big trees in Mori, Hokkaido, but they were all so bent. I don't think any of them would have made straight pillars for building. In fact, when the Japanese government did the restoration, they couldn't find straight pillars to use, so they imported them from Russia.
Was it possible that the Jomon people also imported their straight chestnut trees from Russia? I can't imagine that. Even so, there were over 20 places at the Sannai Maruyama site where you could see the traces of 6-pillar buildings. I wonder if there was some kind of blossoming of architecture at that time.
The large number of these buildings is surprising, but what first caught my attention was the fact that there were 6 pillars. There are many examples of 6 balls being shown on both pottery and clay figures. The number 6 was a special number for the Jomon people. The Jomon people, who believed that the soul was 2 snakes, female and male, each holding 3 balls, considered the 6 balls of the 2 snakes to be equivalent to a human soul.
So the 6 pillars have something to do with a human soul.
That's right. What I find surprising is the direction in which the 6 pillars were placed. There are more than 20 groups of 6 pillars, and they were all erected in a way in which the sun would pass through their center on the winter solstice. In short, the sun sets between the 2 lines of the 3 pillars on either side, and on the other side of that line is Tsugaru's Mount Iwaki. Moreover, the word pronounced Iwaki is also found in the Ainu language, and it means where the soul comes home.
You often say that the Ainu are directly related to the Jomon people, Doctor.
The number 6 is a sacred number for the Ainu people too. So, to get back to what we were saying about Sannai Maruyama, let's say that they were praying towards the line of the sun through the 6 pillars every day. Normally, the pillars would appear to be separate, but on the winter solstice, the sun would be exactly in between the 3 pillars on either side, and the 3 pillars would overlap, and the 6 pillars would look like 2. The Jomon people of Sannai Maruyama might have thought that this phenomenon represented the 6 balls of the intertwined soul being divided into 2 sets of 3 balls. In other words, on the winter solstice, the 6 balls entwined in the other world would be separated into 2 sets of 3 and be born again as a new life.
But the sun shines the weakest on the winter solstice. Some people say that the winter solstice represents death.
Not at all. The sunlight starts to increase again at the end of the winter solstice. That means the life force is resurrected on that day.
I see. So I guess that means the 6 pillars don't need a roof, or a floor, or even walls for that.
Yes, if you were to try to pray to the sun or see when the winter solstice had come, those things would just get in the way.